while I was gone again. Thanks, Debs. Um, so they have probably a two-part alpha release update for June, but this is only for part 1. So when's part 2, I wonder? Says, greetings adventurers. This month we'll be releasing 2 updates into the New World Alpha focused on polish, balance, and bug fixes as we prepare for our closed beta in July and our full launch on August the 31st. We'll be sharing more information on part 2 of the June update soon. So please follow us at Play New World and stay tuned to this site for more updates. For now, you can read the full release notes for part 1 of the June update here. So let's dive down deep into the alpha update for part 1. So, in general, they fixed 1,209 bugs. Woo. They had an infestation, guys. So with that, they increased the number of company members from 50 to 100. Thanks, devs. I would really appreciate being able to invite a whole lot of people into the company and not have to have like a company part 1 or a company part A. So I was looking really forward to upping the company limit. I'm hoping this stays through launch. They updated new player quests related to choosing a faction and gathering and refining for the constable. So, many people were asking on Twitter, who is this constable? So, New World did say on their website and on their Twitter that the constable is what used to be called the overseer in the preview. So they have changed some of the titles of those NPCs from preview into what is this closed alpha. They added a new series of lore notes in each starting zone with additional revelations about that zone's constable. So you get to know a little bit more about the constables in the starting zones. They had a few progression updates. In May, we rebalanced the progression and leveling to introduce a number of new ways for players to advance, such as earning trade skill levels or territory standing levels and discovering points of interest or lore pages. That was in May. This is the June update. That rebalance resulted in players leveling faster than the content. So we've made a few changes to XP gain and leveling. So they reverted back those changes. They said, hey, you're leveling too fast. So they were like, no. They increased the amount of XP from discovering lore pages. We love this new activity and how it rewards exploration and want to ensure it's more impactful on progression. Base XP has been increased from 25 to 40, and XP is increased by 10, up from 5 for every 10 notes discovered. So each lore page is the chapters vary depending upon how many pages you have. Some of the lore pages may be some lore chapters may only be 1 page, to where others may be like let's say 10 or 15, maybe 20. Ugh, I'm not looking forward to those. Double the XP rewards for discovering points of interest like lore note discovery. This is a great new source of XP. We want to up the amount it contributes. They increase the XP required to level by 40% for all levels after 7. So, XP requirements for levels 1 to 7 stayed the same. Anything after level 7 increased by 40%. Players in the alpha are leveling faster than we expected, faster than the content, and as a result, they're missing some cool quests and points of interest, is what the devs said. Devs. If you said we were leveling too fast, he should have just taken our ability away. I'm kidding. The goal of this change is to better align progression with the content in the game. They reduced the XP gain from corrupted breaches by 10 to 20% based on level of breaches. Once again, something I never did play in preview. I'm debating about doing it during closed beta, maybe the launch. I'm not sure. I'm still very hesitant about these corrupted breaches. We also decreased the breach spawn speed from 15 minutes to 30 minutes for minor breaches and from 30 minutes to 60 minutes for major breaches. We loved corrupted breaches and how they bring players together, but want the feeling to be more about cleansing the area of corruption than waiting for it to rebuild, not to be a constant grind. Oh. Oh. We reduced the XP from faction missions to compensate for the change in mission structure. In this update, we've changed faction missions back to the single mission structure. Since they are considerably faster now, we've adjusted the rewards accordingly. So they've changed a little bit with the factions last alpha update, from what I understand. Now they reverted them back because they had it to where it was a multi-step mission if you took on a faction mission. Now apparently the alpha testers were like, no, you can't do that, or no, we're having issues with that, so they reverted it back. Reduce the XP from PvP missions by about 20%. The proximity of the mission locations and speed at which players could complete missions led to a quicker rate of XP gain than intended. Arenas will now require one party member to have a tuning orb for entry. So these tuning orbs for arenas are those of Amory Temple, the Amory Expedition, the Depths, the Shattered Abyss, things like that. One person has to have this tuning orb in order to enter the arena. They increase the rewards for completing an arena. Like expedition orbs, tuning orbs will be given during an initial quest and can then be crafted from materials found around Aeternum. Adding the crafting missions we removed from faction missions to town projects. Thematically, this felt like a better place for this type of activity. Oh, okay. So apparently they had a crafting mission found on the factions missions, and they changed those from faction missions over to town projects. Because it made better sense for it to be under town projects instead of those factions. Okay. Along with the move to town projects, cooking and armoring and interminting crafting missions have been overhauled and changed to be more accessible. Requirements have been made easier for cooking missions with a maximum of a 4 ingredient for any mission and less of each ingredient type. Okay. I don't know if I like that change. Tuned armor and Arminian missions to require less of each material. That's understandable. If it can't be found in that settlement, then you might have to go to another settlement. If it was me, I wouldn't want to go to another settlement. Rather than requiring materials from tier 2 to tier 5, these missions now require materials from tier 1 to tier 4. Okay. Raise the cap of the number of active buy and sell contracts to 100 per character. Okay, that is a good thing. Because before in preview, you were limited to, I think, 50 buy and sell contracts. So now they have changed that to double of 100 per character. We reordered and tuned the list of territory standing bonuses offered at each level. The new order has bonuses more relevant to the early game, rolling at the earlier territory standing levels such as town storage, territory standing bonuses, and XP gains. I don't know if I like that. Cause whenever I did preview, I did mine towards town storage. I did it towards gathering. I did it towards mining. And I did everything except for territory standing, XP gain, and there was another one. I think it was trading tax. I would have to go back and look at my previews. Generally, but not always, standing bonuses should. Generally, but not always. Devs, I have a question on that. Generally, but not always. What do you mean by that? Standing bonuses should offer a choice between similar things. Okay. For instance, one set of bonuses will pick between taxes and fees, while the other set will pick between advancement bonuses such as territory standing bonuses or faction token bonuses. Faction tokens, that's what I was thinking. I don't go for that. Generally, but not always. So what do you... Devs, I don't know if that is an actual good say. Generally, but not always. I'm gonna steal that from you guys. A set of bonuses will pick between taxes and fees. So, like the taxes and fees from like refining and storage, and the fees of trading post. That's what I was thinking about, was trading post. Increase the amount of furnishing points granted by the furnishing standing bonus from 1 to 5. Okay, I never did furnishing, so I don't remember this. This required a reduction to an overall number of times this bonus is offered. We wanted to stay close to our previous hard cap at max standing, but we also wanted to grant more than 1 point at a time. Okay. And loot and gear. Gray rarity gear no longer binds on equipped. What's gray rarity gear? Is that like common? This will eliminate the confirmation pop-up when equipped gray rarity gear, which should reduce pop-ups and complexity during the first few levels for new players. I'm guessing that is common. Can you just say common? We'll find out what gray rarity gear is. Gear rewards! We're continue to add more gear to the game. Yay! Is it going to be through the shop? Nay. I don't want it through the shop. And improve the visual appearance of all gear in the game. Added 50 new armor sets that can be attained through a variety of in-game activities. Okay. Updated visual stats and perks for any of the unique weapons and armor sets that can be found as rewards in the following locations and game modes: Invasions, War, Corrupted Breaches, Outpost Rush, Lazario Well, Garden of Genesis, The Depths, Shattered Obelisk, Arenas, and many in-game elite points of interest. What about the Amory expedition? Devs? Did you forget one? I think you forgot one. So, they have the new gear here. I like this one. I don't care for the others. Okay. The possible perks from each source have been narrowed to give each piece more focus on the benefits they provide. This is intended to reduce the chance of getting a less than ideal combination of perks, depending upon what kind of character build you are looking to make. Added 27 new trinket rewards for War, Breach, Invasion, and Outpost Rush. Updated the color scheme on a slew of weapons throughout the game. A slew? I don't know what, let me see. The definition of a slew. Is that like 4? I don't think you meant slew, Dubs. Slew, as a verb, is a turn or slide violently or uncontrollably in a particular direction, or of an electronic device undergoing slewing. And as for a noun, a slew is a violent or uncontrollable sliding movement. I don't think you meant slew. Update all unique colored weapons drops by lost enemies. Update the base set color on spears, rapiers, and great axes. Dropped by Angry Earth enemies by correctly match the other Angry Earth weapons. Ooh. I wanted that. I wanted to be able to pick up their weapons. I like that we can do that now. Update a base set color on spears and rapiers dropped by ancient enemies to better match the other ancient weapons. Just those. And updated the color scheme on the base set of ice gauntlets dropped by all families of enemies to match the color seen on each of their unique weapon sets. But where did the ice gauntlets come from? Because you're saying that, like, great axes, rapiers, and spears come from from Angry Earth. The spears and rapiers come from the ancients, and okay. Added 2 unique trade skill apparel sets that can be discovered throughout Aeternum. These apparel sets will not provide much benefit in combat. Well, then what's the use in picking it up? But each set is stacked with perks. One set to improve crafting, the other to improve gathering. Why don't I just use a consumable to gain those abilities? And added a name weapon drop to the global list of drops that can occur anywhere in the game. These weapons have a low chance to drop, but could add excitement to global drops. Okay. The weapons on this list are all bind on equip, so they can be traded between players until they are equipped the first time. Okay. And then they updated some crafting. Trinkets are now created with embedded gems that cannot be changed, and they added crafting recipes for carnelian and amber trinkets. And then they updated the UI and UX. The main menu got an update. The main menu and initial character creation flow has received an update. In addition to streamlining the flow and adding key functionality, we wanted to draw players into the world of Aeternum immediately after booting up the game. Our new main menu displays a new dynamic tile grid, which will surface content upgrades or important information about the living world of Aeternum. In future versions, we hope to be able to deliver streaming video via these titles, but for now they will open a web browser for more information. I actually like the new main menu. It is very sleek. They do have a little announcement panel. They do have, the new updates over on the left-hand side. And then they have a little background of Aeternum. I'm wondering if this main menu will change as your story progresses, or will it be the same. I want it to change. on the new character uh, on the new character select screen, you'll see your available character slots. So we do get 2. And receive important server messaging before advancing into the game. The world list has been replaced with your character slots, which you have 2 per region. You now only need to choose a world, then initially create your character. So we do have 2. We had 2 during the preview, and from what it said during the alpha notes is that they went down to 1. So apparently someone barked up the tree and said that they wanted 2. As a new player, you will be streamlined character creation flow with a choose a world step that shows a recommended world choice based on current queue times and if any Steam friends are online and playing on that server. You can optimally expand the world list and choose any world as you can now. So they are including Steam updates for friends. I like that. Because now I'll be like, oh, you're in this world, I'm going to go ahead and meet you there. I like that. Outside integration. Gameplay UI polishes. So, what about the character creation? I guess it's later. Combat UI has been adjusted to provide more information to moment gameplay. It should now be easier to tell what type of attacks are being used, how effective the attacks are, and when status effects are being applied. They added icons to floating damage numbers, showing the damage type of all attacks. Okay. They added an indicator and colors to show if an attack has improved or reduced effectiveness against its target due to the attack's type. Okay. The status effects now generate a floating text and icon to clearly indicate the status effect's name when applied to either players or mobs. Okay, and status effects icons are more clear and prominently placed above the enemy's names rather than on the right side. Oh, okay. So they're up here instead of being like down here. Got it. The compass has had some polish too, including when in a POI, a point of interest, the compass would display the point of interest's name permanently until you exit the point of interest boundaries. Can I not turn that off? Both entrance and exit into the point of interest now has an SFX queue to add in recognizing when you can set camp. Okay. Because if I remember correctly, it was kind of hard to tell when you were near something, like a landmark, to be able to set camp. Because I saw other people's camps, and I couldn't set them there. Distances are now only shown in the compass icon closest to the center of the compass where the area where the camera is aiming. This improves legibility of distances significantly by removing overlapping text and allows us to show distances of more icon types. Character appearance. Oh, now we go to character creation. A plethora of new character appearance options are now available when creating your character, including new faces, hairstyles, facial hairstyles, eye color, skin features, scars, and tattoos. Here are just a few examples. So, as you can see, during the preview, we only had body type, face, skin tone, hairstyle, facial hair, and that was it. We didn't have anything else. So now we can change our eye colors, we can change our features, we can add scars, we can add tattoos. But what exactly are they saying about features? I guess wrinkles? Is a feature a wrinkle? You didn't really stay. Okay. Is this clipping? That looks like it's clipping. Or is it supposed to be like that? So you can only have tattoos on the face. Okay. And other UX polishes. Tooltips no longer cover up the items you're pointing at. True. Instead, they clamp into the side of the focus item. In addition, the actions panel has been scaled down and condensed so that tooltips take up less overall room on the inventory screen, streamlining of the die screen and color picker, including the ability to preview colors on the character model by hovering and not clicking on the item. Okay, so you can actually preview the color of the die before even applying it now. Because I know during preview, I applied a dye and I hated it. I hated it. And you could take it off. It was something that was bound to player, and I hated it. They added unique items for group members instead of identical diamonds with different colors for colorblind accessibilities. When accessing a storage shed, you will no longer receive the storage shed informational notification in the upper right corner except for the very first time you access it. Cool. And players who crouch or prone no longer generate a typing bubble when communicating in global chat, allowing players to remain stealthy when engaging in open world PvP. I think that should have been implemented a long time ago. But who am I to know? Now they did some updates onto their combat, the default control scheme update. We have updated our default control scheme to resolve some combat, PvP, and quality of life issues. Dodge is now bound to shift. Okay. Jump is now bound to space. Was that not what it was? They removed sprint as an input and is now and will now occur automatically. Sprinting will now occur automatically and will not require you to press and hold shift to engage. Okay. We're trying this quality of life change to remove the need of holding down a input for a large amount of gameplay experience and tiring out your pinky finger. I thought I thought run was W, shift, equal. Or am I stupid? Okay. Combat actions will cause a brief time delay before sprinting turns on automatically. We've added in these delays to help reduce the runaway game that has been occurring in PvP and to help melee characters close in against ranged opponents by not allowing the opponent to disengage as easily. This will also slightly reduce the ability of players to run in circles while kiting enemies and expeditions. The delays are as follows. You cannot sprint for 1.5 seconds after the beginning of the ongoing attack. You cannot sprint after 2 seconds for 2 seconds after you are hit by an incoming melee attack. That was my game, guys. I would hit and run, and then hit them again and run on mobs. Now you're saying I'm gonna be a sitting duck. I think I'm gonna be a sitting duck. We saw that accidentally performing special navigation such as hurdling and ledge grabs, was occurring during combat. To perform special navigation now, you will need to press the jump input, which is default set to space. You will no longer automatically perform special navigation while navigating unless you enter auto run mode. Okay. That's too many changes, devs. So now you're saying you change the default for dodge jump and you change sprint, but then you took off hurdling and ledge grabs during combat unless you are doing the auto run mode. And you took away sprint if you are in the middle of a expedition or an attack. Ugh. Okay. I don't like that. This gets a no. Movement navigation. Wasn't that just movement? Or am I crazy? We have also made upgrades to player navigation that pair with the default control scheme update. These updates have been made to reduce the sprint jump from being used in combat to gain an advantage, which was never intended. We also needed to allow stamina regeneration during navigation since sprint is now automatic. Remove the roll on sprint jump unless the player is landing from an elevated height. I don't remember the roll. When my character fell, they fell. They didn't roll. The sprint jump no longer exceeds sprint speed. Stamina will regen while navigating and remove the stamina cost from jump. Okay. Block, break, blocking, and stamina. 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 Guys, these are a lot to take in, and I can't talk. Block break has been updated to be a more disadventurous state, as our current block break could be used as an advantage during boss fights, trivialize certain encounters. We've made updates to our blocking state and stamina regen rules to offer a more active version of tanking and to give options to the blocking players. After block break, you will not be able to dodge or block for 3 seconds. Stamina will now reset to full after 3 seconds instead of 1.5. Players cannot block at 0 stamina. Stamina will not regenerate while blocking. After a player releases block, there is a 1 second delay before stamina starts to regenerate. Stamina will regenerate while attacking. Default stamina regeneration rate has been reduced from 35 stamina per second to 20 stamina per second. Are you guys making the game harder now? Death's Door. I'm going to be encountering that too many times. All damaging, debuffing, and buffing status effects are removed when entering Death's Door. Timers, food buffs, and other tracking effects are not removed on Death's Door. Sheathed and prone attack updates. You can now trigger abilities and attack directly from the sheathed state. Pressing any ability button will sheathe, while sheathed will now go straight into the attack. Basic attacks and abilities can also be performed directly from the prone position. Could you not do that before? I guess not. Balance. And these are weapon updates. which I'm going to let you guys read. Because this is a whole update. Okay. So my 2 cents of this update is that the devs have made it harder. They have made the game harder on us. Okay. But while I was gone, they did 2 little settlement introductions on their Twitter. So we are going to now visit Windsward and see what Windsward's about.
Welcome, traveller, to the world of Aeternum. Your journey here may have been fraught with danger, but you're safe now on solid ground. Join us as we take you on a tour of some of the most important locations in Aeternum. Meet some of the inhabitants, both friendly and not so friendly, and advise you on how to put your best foot forward in this strange land. Towards the south of Aeternum lies Windsward, a lush grassland filled to the brim with natural resources. Whether you're gathering wood for the fire, stone for the smithy, or water for your food, Windsward will provide. Your first port of call in Windsward will be the main settlement. It's a small town situated near the center of the region, with a small river cutting through the middle. To the north of the river, you'll find the forge and outfitting stations to craft new melee weapons and clothes. Make sure to check in with Magistrate Kurapati while you're there. She's proud of her settlement and she'll want to meet any new visitors. If you need a place to rest your head, make sure to check into the Southern Breeze, Windsward's inn to the south of the town. Innkeeper Suen is happy to take in all travelers. You'll also find a tannery on this side of the river, just down from the workshop, where you can craft your own ranged weapons or make some furnishings for your home if you prefer. The peace and tranquility of Windsward town may be tempting, but adventure awaits beyond its walls. To the north of the town lies the Amrine Temple, a mysterious hub constructed by the ancients, surrounded by giant, mysterious stone spheres. There are rumors of great treasure within, but even greater foes guard it. New arrivals to Windsward would be wise to steer clear of this place. Do stop by and say hello to Barkamedes, however. The poor hound seems a mite lonely and would surely benefit from some quality time with a...
I want to pet Barkamedes. I've heard you can pet him in the game. That would be my first quest to do, is to pet Barkamedes, and hopefully he doesn't kill me.
kind traveller. For those less interested in ancient mysteries and are instead looking for a chance to prove their might, the Windsward Fort lies to the northwest of the region. Here is where you will engage in all-out war for Windsward as rival factions battle for control of the land. Those defending the fort will find the main gate heavily fortified with enormous repeater and ballista turrets to cut down your enemies. Be aware of the rear of the fort, however. There are fewer turrets to defend with and several small entryways for aggressors to slip through, so make sure your allies are keeping their eyes on all corners. And watch out for invading forces approaching from the nearby Octan's monolith, as it could spell death to defenders. But, as with all of Aeternum, a darkness lurks here. You'll also find many farmsteads scattered throughout Windsward, but be wary. These farms have long since fallen to soulless creatures known as the Withered. Pay close attention to the regurgitators among their ranks, which will throw poisonous bile at you from a distance. And avoid straying too far to the edges of the territory, where the corrupted are gathering in great numbers. The local wildlife isn't much friendlier. Hunters will find rabbits, elk, and bison roaming the land, which will make for a fine meal. But tawny wolves stalk the forests to the north, while deadly pumas prowl the caves of the south, and neither take kindly to strangers.
That's no puma. That's a mountain lion. That is a mountain lion where I'm from. It's not a puma.
And if you want to explore the ancient pastime of angling, be sure to speak with Master Fisher Shields, who can be found casting his line not far from the Windswood settlement. Windswood may be a space of natural beauty, but it hides many mysteries and dangers. Take heed of our guidance, however, and you should be more than equipped to deal with whatever may stand before you. Whether you're gathering wood for charcoal or animal hides for leather, we'll see you out in the fields of Aeternum.
And then the next stop of touring Aeternum is Morningdale, which I have never been to. So let's see what Morningdale has to give to us.
They say that only the incredibly brave or incredibly foolish make their home in Morningdale. It's a region where rain is a constant companion, and if sodden boots aren't enough to slow you down...
Sounds like Seattle. Eternal rain. Sounds like Seattle.
Then the wretched creatures that stalk its many ruins will surely hinder you. Yet, in spite of its dank, dark atmosphere, there is beauty to be found here. From the enormous, extravagant statues greeting sailors at New Balefire to its unique flora and fauna, Morningdale hides many of its treasures, and only the dedicated explorers will unearth everything there is to see. Your first stop in the territory will surely be Morningdale Hamlet, a small settlement in the center of the region. Despite the many trials and tribulations the land presents, just ask survivalist Fletcher. The people here have built a home for themselves, with plenty of houses available if you want to start your own life here. Morningdale Hamlet is an oasis in a vast region of torment, and you should spend your time in these ruined walls, gathering equipment and preparing yourself for the wilds beyond. There are tools available for those who wish to craft their own gear, or you can check in at the trading post if you've got the coin to spare. Venture south of the hamlet and you'll uncover some of the many ancient ruins that the region is known for. Now flooded by the endless rain, the ruins of Sabra, Marsik, and Karaka fascinate explorers and scholars alike. But tread carefully, as ancient guardians will do all they can to preserve and protect these landmarks from interlopers. To the southeast is Morningdale Fort, built on the beach to provide cover from both the land and sea. Any invading factions will need to control this location, but it won't be easy to take down. There's very little cover on the beaches and a hill to climb without getting cut down by turrets. May the winds blow in your favor. Venture up the eastern beaches to the north of Morningdale and you'll come across New Balefire, an imposing port with extravagant sculptures looking out across the sea. This port of the ancients is now overrun with corrupted, and the stonework has been worn away from combat. So be sure to watch your step, lest you fall into the dark waters below. Gildan seems to know something about this port. Perhaps she can tell you more. You'll also notice ancient towers across the territory, but only the bravest of warriors will want to get within a stone's throw of Scorpius. The corrupted have also made a home for themselves here, and they'll fight tooth and nail to keep you out. With the ancients and corrupted battling for a stronghold across Morningdale, you're likely to encounter their kind wherever you set foot. But you'll also need to be wary of the bears in the forests and even the boars on the main roads. Each is as furious and deadly as the last. It can also be quite hard to see what's ahead with the driving rain that this region is known for. Keep your eyes keen, and if you must make camp, ensure you've got a roof over your head. So, Why venture into this forsaken landscape if all that faces you is death and dirt? There's also talk of weirdwood trees across this patch of land, though only expert loggers will know how to harvest the mysterious wood and sap from this particular plant. No matter how you look at it, Morningdale remains a fascinating area of Aeternum to explore. Its ancient ruins and impressive stone structures are as awe-inspiring as they are daunting, and those that have chosen to live here have carved a charming home out of a demanding territory. If you're prepared to fight through the rain and the corrupted, perhaps you too could find a new life in Morningdale.
So Morningdale sounds like Seattle. I think they're paying a homage to Seattle. But anyway, guys, I like the new update with the character creation, but I'm not liking the combat changes. I'm very torn between this is good and bad. I'm hoping that for part 2 that it will even it out, even though it is already even for me. But anyway, I hope everybody has a good day, has a good night wherever they are in the world, and I will see you guys on my next one. Bye!